to announce that investigator Wayne David, who is assigned to our Violent Crime Suppression Division, did pass away this evening here at the hospital. Wayne was a member of the Metropolitan Police Department for over 25 years.
Again, with breaking news in the district, a longtime D.C. police officer died after a suspect's gun he was trying to recover in a storm drain accidentally went off, striking him. 7 News was there as first responders, Mayor Muriel Bowser, and others gathered for an emotional procession as the officer's body was escorted out of the hospital. Police released photos of the man they are looking for. We're told he was seen putting that gun in the storm drain before running away. The scene happening on DC 295, bringing traffic to a standstill for hours. The lanes just reopened in the last 10 minutes. 7 News is on your side with team coverage tonight. Our Carl Willis has been at the scene all evening long, gathering new information. Meanwhile, Christian Flores is outside the hospital where that officer was being treated. And Tom Rousey is at the alert desk. But we're going to start with Christian. Obviously, an incredibly difficult night for this officer's colleagues and family. Christian, what are you learning?
It's the update investigators did not want to give. Investigator Wayne David has died, and we've been out here at the hospital in front of the emergency room entrance for hours now. And it's been very emotional. We've seen officers hugging each other as they arrived for this procession, and we have learned that Mayor Muriel Bowser was also here. Let's show you video of that. Several officers gathered here for the procession. Our cameras were rolling as they prepared to bring Officer David out of the hospital. He leaves behind a son and daughter. Assistant Chief Carroll says this is a line of duty death and that David will be remembered for his service to the force, taking hundreds of guns off the streets in his career.
Wayne was a member of the Metropolitan Police Department for over 25 years, and he had been assigned to our Violent Crime Suppression Division, originally with their gun recovery unit and now with their Violent Crime Suppression Division since 2007. He has recovered hundreds of guns across the city. He has been the savior to many scenes, to many people in our community. He is known across the community. He's a resident here of the District of Columbia. Our hearts go out to him, his family, his daughter, his son, his other family members and his girlfriend, also to the members of the Metropolitan Police Department. Wayne is a true hero to the District of Columbia, and today he gave his life to serve the visitors and the residents here in the District of Columbia, and we will never forget that.
And tonight, DC police also released photos of the suspect they're looking for. We're told he was seen putting the gun in that storm drain before running away. MPD will use their real-time crime center to help track down and arrest this suspect. But they're also asking members of the public if they know anything, if they have seen this man, to go ahead and give them a call. Reporting live in Northwest DC, Christian Flores, 7 News.
This accidental shooting shut down several lanes on DC 295 during rush hour, and they just reopened before 11 p.m. And Carl Willis has been out there all evening. Carl, we can see that there are cars now moving behind you. What can you tell us about what's happening there now?
Yeah, as you mentioned, that development is coming in the last 10 to 15 minutes. I can also tell you what ended up being a tragic, deadly shooting. Started off with police officers responding right to my right behind me here on Coral Street to what they believed at the time to be a suspicious vehicle. But before police could even get in there and ask questions, they say one of the men in the vehicle jumped out and ran here toward 295, actually jumping into lanes of traffic right in the middle of rush hour at the time. Police say this is where that man tried to ditch a gun in a storm drain.
When he jumped down, the officers were able to see him place a firearm in that storm drain that we talked about. He then ran in the roadway away from the officers and actually got into northbound 295, where he was able to get on the back of a motorcycle that was in traffic, and he left the area on the back of that motorcycle.
Yeah, he went from southbound, then into the northbound lanes where he hopped on the back of someone's motorcycle and basically made that person, who police say may have just been a random person stuck in traffic, made that person the getaway driver. But none of that actually covers the tragic shooting death of Officer David. Police say the 25-year veteran who was assigned to the Violent Crime Suppression Division, who was also trained as a crime scene search officer, went into that storm drain to get the gun that was tossed and was in the process of gathering that gun as evidence when it accidentally went off, shooting that officer fatally in the upper body. Now we want to show you that picture once again. Police will lean on the ATF to process the gun, and we're taking another look right now at the person who police say tossed the gun and then took off. Police are hoping that you can take a look at that and help them identify that person. Reporting live in Northeast D.C., Carl Willis, 7 News.
Back now to the breaking news we are following. And this morning, we are learning more about what led up to the death of a longtime D.C. police officer shot while trying to retrieve a gun from a storm drain. Now, police say officers tried to stop a suspicious person who then ditched a gun by a storm drain by D.C. 295 and hopped on the back of a motorcycle and got away. Now, this is a look at the scene, on 295, by Eastern Avenue in the Kenilworth neighborhood yesterday during rush hour. And this is a look at the scene as that officer was being moved from MedStar Health last night. Officer Wayne David, we have learned, has died. 7 News' John Gonzalez is live at MPD headquarters this morning. And John, this is an officer with decades of experience.
Decades of experience and what he meant to the District of Columbia, and that will be his legacy. Adriana, good morning to you. And part of the investigation, of course, this morning is how did that firearm go off, killing Officer Wayne David? We are live right outside of MPD headquarters. The police department saying that this does fall under a line of duty death, so they will have all the appropriate honors to honor the legacy of this officer who served with the DC Police Department for 25 years. Now, he was a member, we are told, of the Violent Crimes Division, an officer who was in charge of recovering firearms at crime scenes, just like the one yesterday there in Northeast D.C. He was flown via helicopter to MedStar Washington Hospital Center, and that is where our cameras captured the solemn procession by police officers leaving the hospital late last night. Hours earlier, this was the scene on DC 295, a massive police presence. Traffic was gridlocked. Now take a look. We want to share again the images police have released this morning of the suspect who is still on the run this morning. Assistant Chief Jeffrey Carroll told 7 News that the Officer David accidentally shot himself while retrieving that firearm that was discarded down that storm drain by the suspect, who ran out onto the highway after police tried to detain him in a nearby neighborhood. After throwing that gun down the drain, he jumped onto the back of a motorcycle.
He has been the savior to many scenes, to many people in our community. He is known across the community. He's a resident here of the District of Columbia. Our hearts go out to him, his family, his daughter, his son, his other family members and his girlfriend, also to the members of the Metropolitan Police Department.
We understand this morning the ATF is assisting in this investigation. Now, when the suspect jumped onto the back of that motorcycle, the driver stayed on. Police this morning do not have any indication that they knew each other. This suspect is still on the run. Reporting live, John Gonzalez, 7 News.
John, thank you. This morning, we have new reaction from D.C. Mayor Muriel Bowser. Her office released this statement late last night. It reads in part, "It is hard to accept that a man who came to work to protect our city won't return home. Tonight, I am praying for investigator David's family and loved ones, and I'm praying for the officers who put themselves in harm's way every day to protect D.C."
This latest shooting of an MPD officer marks a very disturbing trend in the district.
7 News' Lindsay Masses is at the alert desk now. And Lindsay, the number of officers shot so far this year is on the rise.
Yeah, especially when we compare it just to the previous few years here, it is up. And I do want to show you some numbers from the past few years. And these are statistics from the Fraternal Order of Police. There were 3 officers shot in the line of duty in 2022. Last year, there were 2. This year, as of August 1st, 6 officers shot so far. And then this latest case makes it 7. Now, we still have several more months before the end of the year, and we'll continue to keep you updated.
Lindsay, thank you. Well, we're working to learn more about services for Officer Wayne David. We'll bring you those details as well as updates on the search for the man police say ditched that gun. You can find all of our reporting right now on